How did week 6 of the NFL season impact our perspective of the AFC? Well, we're going to deliver our updated AFC Power Rankings today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day. And a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who would never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Joe, happy National 1/3 of the way officially through the NFL regular season in 2023. 18 regular season weeks, 6 of them are now complete.
When you started saying that, I was wondering how the math was going to check out, but you leveraged the bye week, and I applaud that. So nicely done there.
So you are officially 3 weeks on the calendar away from the halfway point of 9 of 18, and I can do that math. So hope you're enjoying it while it's here.
Yeah, because it goes fast, right? It's a sprint and a marathon all at the same time, the NFL season.
Yeah, and which is why I'm glad that we are updating our conference power rankings right now, because I look at what I have and I feel like the marathon has given us some stability in certain spots, but then the sprint dynamic, there's still about half the conference that you just kind of put in the bundle and you're like, man, it's really close.
Yeah.
And the week to week creates these roller coasters that these teams ride. And I think that manifests itself between the stability and the segment 1 teams, the segment 3 teams versus the segment 2 teams on today's show.
5 through 12 for me changed a ton.
Okay, that's fun. So I did not have a single team from 6 to 13 that was in the same spot as it was last week.
All right, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah. So
shall we
start with the top here today?
Okay.
Your top team last week was the Miami Dolphins.
Nothing's changed.
My top team last week was the Kansas City Chiefs, and that has stayed the same as well. Kansas City took care of business against Denver. Miami obviously put 42 on Carolina. And if you felt that way about those teams coming in, good process to leave them both where they're at.
Right. And again, our starting points is what really influences that, right? As we talked in depth about last week.
Correct. Now, I do have a change it too.
Okay. All right, let me think about this for a second. I know my video's frozen. This is not great.
No, you're back.
All right. So you have a change at 2. You have the Chiefs at 1.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you had the Bills at 2
I did.
previously. Okay. So they're out. You're either going to put Jacksonville or Miami at 2.
Correct, because those were my teams at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So I put Miami at 2, and I used the same logic that I applied to justify Buffalo in front of Miami previously to justify putting Jacksonville at 3 and Buffalo at 4 after the last few weeks and the injuries that Buffalo has incurred. So Buffalo lost head-to-head to Jacksonville in London.
Mm-hmm.
So the previous argument was, well, Miami lost to Buffalo, so Buffalo has to be in front of Miami. But now that you're 2 weeks removed from that, Buffalo looked the way that they did on Sunday Night Football against the Giants. They lost head-to-head to Jacksonville, and they incurred the injuries to Milano and Daquan Jones. Those are big-time losses. So I took the last 2 weeks encapsulated to say, okay, I still want to have as much integrity as I can with head-to-head stuff, but Miami waxing New York and then putting 42 on Carolina was enough for me to say, okay, if I look at the entirety of the group of 4, Jacksonville's head-to-head over Buffalo feels more weighted right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got somewhere that I got to last week with it.
Yeah.
So
Because you had Buffalo at 4 last week behind Miami, Kansas City, Jacksonville were your top 3.
which is exactly what I still have. Nothing's changed there for me. I have Miami, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Buffalo, my top 4. Jacksonville. Well, here we'll acknowledge the Chiefs because you have them at
1,
and I have them at 2. I don't think either one of us is going to sit here and tell you that this is a dominant football team, but they continue to get the benefit of the doubt, right? Like that's the deal with Kansas City. They can walk through portions of their schedule, and it's different than other teams sleepwalking through portions of their schedule. Last year, they went to overtime against Malik Willis. They lost to the Colts, right? Like they have these moments every single year. And so until that winds up not costing them and they keep winning somehow, they're going to still continue to be high up in these power rankings. But I think Jacksonville is fully awake. 3 in a row, a big win against the Bills, another convincing win this past week against the Colts, right? A team that was a little bit different story when they played them the first time. And I think that's always a good measuring stick, right? Like what's the second game against a divisional opponent look like in the same season? And we've already seen that with Jacksonville. And obviously there's growth there. And then I do have the Bills at 4. I think the last 2 weeks have not been great for the Bills, obviously losing to Jacksonville. And, you had the biggest, you were the biggest favorite in the league this year, 15.5 points against the Giants. You beat them by 5, and it was a yard away from taking a loss there. And so, the Bills offensively need to find some rhythm. What's interesting is that injuries are on defense, and the defense has continued to play really well. The offense has just kind of gotten in its own way the last 2 weeks and has not been able to establish rhythm earlier in games. And so that's going to be important for the Bills to correct moving forward.
Right. And the last thing that I would say in regards to the top 4, we have the same 4 teams. We just have Miami and Kansas City flip-flopped. Kansas City's next 4. How familiar are you with it?
You're gonna tell me something I don't know. So go ahead.
They played the Chargers, who are coming off a loss last night to Dallas to fall to 2-3. I think that's going to be a desperate Chargers team.
Yeah. Okay. Does it matter?
Right. Yeah, I still think Kansas City will win, but they're still a talented. They're a more talented team than the record that they put on the field thus far. I know
might be a coaching problem, Kyle. Might be a coaching problem with the Chargers.
I have a feeling it probably is. Then you have the Broncos, and then you have the Dolphins in Germany, and then you have the Eagles. That's the next 4 for Kansas City.
So they got to find their stride.
Yep. It's either if they're number 1 4 weeks from now, it's because they earned it.
Well, and so you mentioned, did you say Denver was the second game of the next 4?
Yes.
And they just it took everything they could to beat them at home on a short week.
Right.
We're going to find out. Okay, what's interesting here is number 5, right?
I think there's a right answer here.
Oh, I love when you say that. Because I think there's a right answer, but I didn't have strong convictions. I bet you we're different here. I bet you we're different.
We are. It's not taking into account a head-to-head. It's the best quality win a team has had.
You're going to put Cleveland.
I'm going to put the Cleveland Browns at 5.
And I have Baltimore.
And you put Baltimore because they comfortably waxed Cleveland the first time they played each other?
And I think they're 4-2 and Cleveland's 3-2. I think Cleveland, they're going to be 6 for me. Okay, so the spoiler alert, they're not far down the list.
And I have Baltimore at 6. So
I don't love what Lamar's doing at quarterback right now, but Cleveland's quarterback play has just been horrible. I mean, they won that game with a horrible performance from PJ Walker. Their quarterback play has been probably collectively the worst of any team in the league this year. And I understand the defense.
That's a strong statement.
Well, who's in conversation? Yeah, it's Cleveland and Carolina. Those are the 2 teams that are in the conversation for the worst quarterback play.
New York,
the Jets, they're down there. But I think
no, the Giants.
Oh yeah, Giants have something to say about that too.
Washington, Sam Howell's on pace to get sacked 20 billion times.
It's been better than what we've seen from Cleveland. So I don't know. It's just it's a piece of the pie that I think is important in the NFL is having good quarterback play, and Cleveland doesn't have it.
You got me. It's true. It's a factual statement.
So a head-to-head loss and have crappy quarterback play. All right, we're going to get to 6 through 10 here in just a moment. But first, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, you know what's good for you, but for some reason you just can't do it? Well, check out therapy. Therapy helps you figure out what is holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. And if you're considering therapy, check out BetterHelp. Give it a try. It's entirely online. The whole thing is set up for it to be convenient for you. It's super flexible to be suited to your schedule. I know everyone's got a busy life right now. Well, BetterHelp has done a great job of being accommodating with how they structure their program so that you can fit it into what you have going on. And it's really simple to get started. All you do is you fill out a brief questionnaire. That'll get you matched with a licensed therapist. And then if for any reason you need to switch therapists, you can do so at any time for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOn today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn. Folks, I am obsessed with DoorDash. The convenience is simply unmatched, especially in my busy life. I think Kyle might even use DoorDash more than me. My guy's getting energy drinks stripped to the front door 3 times a day. You know what I mean? We're busy guys. And the weekends are super busy, right? We're watching football. We're battling kids left and right. And DoorDash will bring what we need right to our front door. I love ordering food from my favorite local restaurants and especially groceries, all dropped off right to our front door. And the consistency is outstanding. DoorDash will bring me exactly what I want, just like I picked it out for myself at the grocery store, or just like I checked to make sure that the takeout order was correct. And if there's ever a problem, they immediately handle it. So stop worrying about what's for dinner. Stop worrying about what you're going to snack on. Stop worrying about when you're going to find time to go to the grocery store. Let DoorDash handle that for you. We got a deal for you. Get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCKED23. Subject to change. Terms apply. Again, that's 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCKEDON23. Subject to change. Terms apply.
So we've already tipped our hand for the start of the middle 5.
I have. I don't know who your 6 is.
I tipped it. I have Baltimore.
Okay, so we just flip-flop Baltimore and Cleveland.
So I spit directly in the face of all of the head-to-head integrity that I tried to exhume in the top 5 to say, yeah, Baltimore, that's cool. You beat Cleveland by 25 points when you played head-to-head this year already. I'm going to have Cleveland in front at 5, Baltimore at 6. Kind of a weird game. I know we acknowledged that yesterday, the Tottenham Hotspur game.
Tottenham.
It was a weird game for Baltimore. Justin Tucker, 6 field goals in that game? I think actually 6 field goals in that contest.
Yep.
And I'm just worried about their consistent ability to finish drive, put points on the board, all that kind of stuff.
Me too.
The wide receiver core. Okay, I'll spoil another thought that I have.
Throw it up to Amari. Oh, you're talking about Baltimore. Go ahead.
Yes. When I alluded to yesterday, talking about players that the next time we do a roster update that we needed to have an honest conversation about, I was talking about Odell Beckham.
Can't help him.
It's like a replacement level player.
He's an orange, man. Switch it. He's
an orange. Yeah.
Getting blues out there.
We had him as a pink, but categorized as an adequate level starter. And then I think maybe did we drop him to quality depth?
We might have
3 weeks ago. There's no value here. Nelson Aguilar came in off the street and is giving you more contributions than
while still being inconsistent. Nelson Aguilar,
right? So, for Baltimore, it's just that is a bit of a gut punch when you think about losing J.K. Dobbins, and obviously Lamar gives you value in the run game with what he can do, and Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, you're capable running the ball. But for the big picture of what we were hoping and what we want Baltimore to be, I don't know that Zay Flowers by himself, because respectfully, Rashad Bateman, you're on that list too, man, at this stage of the game.
Right. He's gotten the benefit of the doubt for a while too.
Yes, because he hasn't played. But we're far enough along where I'm looking at the wide receiver core for Baltimore, and I really think this could be a negatively inhibiting factor for the team.
You know who Baltimore's got next?
The team that you have next on your rankings?
No, they play the Lions. The Lions.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
in Baltimore. In Baltimore. So,
What's that, Sunday?
Sunday at 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's a good one.
I could probably make it and then still get back to Philly for Sunday Night Football.
There you go. Just ditch the family for the whole Sunday.
See, guys, I've been on
figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
You'll be all right. See you later.
Yeah, they got Detroit at Arizona, Seattle, and Cleveland. Their next 4.
Good stretch.
Yeah.
So
3 out of 4. If you're Baltimore and you're going to stick at number 5 in my rankings, you should probably win 3 of those 4.
Right. Which will put you in a really good spot getting at the midway point of the season. Now, we both have revealed our top 6.
Yep.
They're the same 6 teams, largely in the same order with some minor tweaks. Number 7.
I might need to make a change that nobody would know about except for me.
Okay.
I am
going to say that then. You could have just said
I know, but I need to say this out loud because on my paper I have it written a certain way. Oh, do I really want to do this?
Are you moving the Jets further up?
I was thinking about it.
Who do you have? I have the Bengals at 7.
Oh, no. Okay. I don't have the Bengals yet.
And then I have the Jets at 8.
Okay. I'm moving the Jets. The Jets are going to be 7 for me.
Okay.
Talk about quality of wins. I mean, they beat the Bills and the Eagles, man. I know they're 3-3. Took a little bit there to kind of find themselves. Their kryptonite is the Patriots, but they're 3-3. And Kyle, to me, they're on schedule for my expectations with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. That's kind of where I thought 3-3 would be a good spot. I remember talking to John Butchko, the host of Locked On Jets. He said, if you tell me they're 2-4 through the first 6, I'll take it. They're 3-3. He said that when Aaron Rodgers was healthy.
Yeah. Can I give you a confession?
Yeah.
I did a remainder of seasonplayoffpredictors.com this morning.
I'm unsurprised.
Well, that's what happens when you're up every 2 hours for 45 minutes at least, all throughout the night. I got the Jets to 10 again.
Oh, man. Because we knew the schedule softened up. That was the whole thing.
Yep.
Get through the start, and it softens up. Now, they got to go do it, right?
Right. And there's always going to be variability with them offensively on a week-to-week basis.
Yes.
They don't score a lot of points. They can't really take on any more water from an injuries perspective with Vera Tucker going down and Rodgers going down. Now they beat the Eagles with both star corners down. Okay. Props. But if you're worried about law of averages, that tells you this might be a Jets team that's going to drop a goofy game somewhere along the line because they just get really bad quarterback play and a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah. Looking at home games against the Chargers, Falcons, Texans, Commanders, like you say, you should win those. Should you? Could you see them going 2-2 through those 4 home games?
I actually think I had them losing 2 of those games and still got them to 10 wins.
Wow. So okay, let me figure this out. You have them; they're 3-3. I got to find 7 more wins here.
7 wins on the rest of the schedule.
At the Giants is one, I'm guessing.
Yes. I mean, I don't have it up anymore, but I can.
At the Raiders.
Yes.
You said you have 2 of home games: Atlanta, Houston, Washington. So
put them down for 2 of those.
So that gets them to that's 4 more wins. So now they're at 7.
Yep. They got Patriots again, week 18
at New England.
Yep.
So that would be 8. So then the other games I didn't mention is at Buffalo, 2 against Miami, and at Cleveland.
I think I had them split against Miami.
Really?
It's good defense.
If you put any pressure on them to keep up with you, and I get it, their defense has been good.
I'd be inclined to agree with you, but they also are capable of running the ball. It hasn't been a great strength for Miami defensively this season.
And I guess if there's anything that I would say, the only teams that have had a prayer against the Dolphins on defense has been the 2 divisional opponents, the teams that have had some familiarity with what that speed and that tempo is from Miami, who play just really different football.
Yep. And I think they'll be able to crowd windows early and force Tua to work through progressions. And so much of what makes the offensive line so effective is they're so consistently getting the ball out in under 2.5.
All right, we're up against a break here. Let's give everyone our 6 through 10, and then we'll talk about it and the rest of it after the break. I have Cleveland at 6.
Yep.
The Jets at 7. Houston at 8.
Okay.
The Steelers at 9 and the Bengals at 10.
Okay, so we still have the same teams in the top 10. I have Baltimore at 6, Cincinnati at 7, New York at 8, Houston at 9, and Pittsburgh at 10.
All right, we're going to explain that to you here in just a moment, but I got to tell you about my new favorite way to buy tickets. Folks, you should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. You're in luck because Gametime is here, and it is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, all the music, all the comedy, all the theater events near you. They've got some killer last-minute deals on tickets, all-in prices, which I love. The price that you see is the price that you pay. You get a view from your seat so you can see an image and know exactly what's going to happen when you get to the venue, and they give you a best price guarantee. Gametime, it takes all the guesswork out of buying tickets. The app is awesome, super easy to navigate. They've got these flash deals. You can log into the app at any point, and they'll give you a flash deal on last-minute tickets. And I also love this part. They send you the tickets right to your phone. You don't have to dig through the emails to try to find it. And if you're like me, I got like 20,000 unread emails. It just goes right to my phone. Super easy. So snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL. That'll get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
I pulled up Dolphins Eagles.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football for tickets on Gametime. Some interesting listings, Joe. And it actually is very cool. It's pretty intuitive. You can't see it now, but you see how the picture moves as I move my phone?
Yeah.
You can move your phone and it actually gives you a panoramic of like the field.
It's the best way to buy a ticket, man.
Pretty cool. Anywho, I had Houston at 9. You had them at 8. This is a hard team to continue to fade.
Well, they've won 3 of their last 4.
And doing it away with CJ Stroud and the chemistry that he has with Nico Collins and DeMeco Ryans' defense, knowing that they play in the AFC South.
They beat Jacksonville by 20. They beat Pittsburgh, who have quality wins. They beat the Saints.
Hey, I got a bone to pick with you at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know they moved all the way. I knew everybody. They moved down big time, and they didn't even play.
They didn't even play a game. What happened?
I hate that for them. I really do. But I saw, here's why. Baltimore stacked another win. They got to 4 wins. Cleveland got a quality win. Houston got a quality win. The Jets got a quality win. So you were sleeping, and all these other teams stacked up like statement wins. That's what happened.
It's fair. It's fair. I had Pittsburgh at 10. I had them at 7 the previous week, and the teams that passed them were the New York Jets, Houston Texans, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Steelers jumped the Chargers in the process, but we haven't got to the Chargers yet.
Can we get to the Bengals?
Yes. Yeah, I have them at 7. You got them at 10.
I have them at 10. Congrats. You've won 3 of your last 4, including your last 2 against Arizona and Seattle. But come on. Like, Geno Smith was so...
Win.
Is it? You had 214 yards of offense and scored 17 points.
It's still a quality win. It's against a quality team.
It is. Like, they get credit for that. But, like, I don't know. Like, the whole body of work here for the Bengals is still bad. And they come out of the bye. It's at 49ers, Bills, Texans, Ravens.
No, that was
Steelers,
I remember that being the
Jaguars.
Was they were not going to get back over 500. I think that was a thought or not last week.
Well, they're at 500, so
right, but not over 500 because it's like, oh, okay, you'll climb to 3-3, and then you got to play San Francisco.
A road date against San Francisco into a home date against the Bills. REP my sleep schedule.
What time's that Bengals game?
8:20 Sunday night, man. I'm still recovering.
Waiting all day.
Waiting
all day for Sunday night.
Yeah, hopefully sometimes you wait all day and it doesn't go the way you want it to.
Yeah.
So you have Cincinnati high, right? You're respecting the wins and kind of the belief of what this team is.
I think there's a pathway to Cincinnati continuing to become a better team.
Of course, I think we know what Joe Burrow can be.
If you look at what Cincinnati has at their disposal versus what the Jets have at their disposal versus what the Texans have at their disposal, which are the teams that are kind of like right behind them for me that you have in front of them, and you can even put Pittsburgh in there if you want to. I still think Cincinnati has more to work with. It's not perfect yet, no, but like I still look at where they are at, and I cross-reference that with what I think that they have. And I think that they can get there. I think they can get to a higher point. But yeah, if you're going to do the college football playoff thing and look at the current resume as it currently stands at this point in time, and that is it, they don't have a resume that I would put 7. I think that's fair.
All right. There's your process there. So that's our, can we move to the bottom 6 here? We feel like
we can move to
right.
bottom 6. I have the Chargers at 11.
Same. Best of the worst, right?
It hurt me to put them in front of the Raiders, who I have at 12. But the Raiders are 3-3 versus the Chargers at 2-3. The Chargers found a way to lose another close game last night.
Dude, the Chargers are 2-3. They beat the Vikings and the Raiders. They went to overtime against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, congrats on narrow losses to the Dolphins and Cowboys at home.
Right.
I mean, they gotta do it at some point.
They got the Chiefs. They got the Chiefs this week.
That'll be helpful for them to get to 2-4. I mean, 2-4. You gonna in the AFC? You gonna get out of that?
If you go to 2-4, you can probably lose 3 games the rest of the season tops.
Okay. Well, they got to go to the Jets. They get the Lions, Ravens, Bills. I mean, that's the thing. And Kansas City, one more time, it's not that hard. It's not that hard of a stretch.
But you just named 4 teams plus the Chiefs. They play the Chiefs twice.
Yeah, 2 against the Chiefs. They got the Bills and Lions, Ravens.
Right, so that's 5 games.
At the Jets.
Not a lot of room for error.
And they get no benefit of the doubt. They don't get any of that.
Right. They're the antithesis of Kansas City, who continues to get the benefit of the doubt. The Chargers get 0 benefit of the doubt.
Well, Kansas City is not playing well and wins. That's also a big difference.
I have the Raiders at 12.
I have the Colts at 12.
Okay. I have the Colts at 13.
I have the Raiders at 13.
Okay. Big selling point on Colts over Raiders.
Quality of win, I think, for me. Indy gets wins against I guess Baltimore's a quality win. They beat Houston. I think those are better wins than the Raiders have against what? They beat Denver, New England, and Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Green Bay. Jordan Love just throwing him the ball left and right. I don't know if they were playing at a neutral site. I do this a lot of times. If they were playing at a neutral site, who do I think would win? I think the Colts would win the game.
Bummer about Richardson, who I know we mentioned yesterday. I know that's not final yet, I don't believe, unless it came out while we're recording. But
no, yeah, there's been a lot of smoke there, whether it was the pregame on Sunday and then Irsay. Irsay is going to spill the beans.
Right.
So, yeah, that's not going in the right direction. And what's frustrating about it with A-Rich is obviously we know he's talented, high pick and all that, but like experience has been the question. And he's going to lose a year of game time. And in a year where you've kind of felt like it was a great opportunity for him to figure things out playing.
Right. So you could come into next year a little bit more enthusiastic about where you're at and what he's done and knowing what you have definitively.
Yeah, it sucks.
And instead missed a game with a concussion in there too. So you got 4 games out of him?
How many did he start and finish, play every snap? 1? I think 1.
I think 1.
Yeah. A lot of career left, obviously, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's because you would like to get a better feel for what he sees well, what he does well, what concepts he runs well, and then go out and find players to execute that. It's still a little bit of, you're going to be like another year of offensive investments where you're going to be filling in the blanks with what you think versus what you know.
Especially because they need to diversify their weaponry.
Correct. Yeah.
Bottom 3 for me is Titans, Broncos, Patriots, 14, 15, 16.
Same. I don't know what could move me off of that right now, barring a win.
Cool. Patriots get the Bills this week.
And then they get the Dolphins.
Yeah, we get to have some back-to-back fun there. We'll see who does a better job. So far, you did a lot better against the Giants than we did. Denver, okay.
They get a little extra rest this week. Who they got this week?
I will tell you in 3 seconds. They play a team that is called the Packers. 2 home games in a row before their bye, Packers and Chiefs.
And then they come out of the bye, they play the Bills.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Okay.
Extra time to play the Bills. Sean
A little
Payton.
extra time. That's right. We are out of time, however. So we are out of here. I'm Kyle Krabs. He's Joe Marino. We are Locked On NFL Scouting. You can find our shows on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We hope you enjoyed this look at the AFC Conference, NFC Conference Power Rankings for Week 7 tomorrow. We hope to see you then. Peace.